Welcome, Council Room 2021. This panel is a discussion about navigating nerdy events in the virtual age. And you know, every time I do these introductions, it always feels like I'm Sheldon on Big Bang with the Fun with Flags. So that means that my cohort here is Amy Farrah Fowler, if I'm Sheldon then. But so anyways, this is navigating nerdy events in the virtual age. And our topic is with Comic-Cons this year being on YouTube, being virtual, and Zoom parties, Zoom watch parties being the new norm. How do you choose from the dizzying array of virtual events that are now available? So come along with us and explore the nerdy universe from your comfy chair. I'm Maye Wilke, owner of Wayward Nerd. It's an online travel magazine geared towards nerds. And I'm joining you today from my home office here in Minnesota, the great white snowy north, and not to mention cold in January. But I'm thrilled to introduce the other person on the panel, which is Tracy May, who is screenwriter and author, most notably known for Riley the series. And she is joining us today from Phoenix, Arizona. So even though we don't want to know about the weather because Minnesota is Planet Hoth, go ahead and let us know what it's like there.
It is a beautiful day, and thank you so much for having me today. It's about 70. This whole week will be 60-ish, which I know for you guys is, you know, for us it's cold. But talk to me in August and we can have a different conversation. We are in this. We are in this right now.
And I think you guys are in somewhat of a drought too.
Yeah, it hasn't rained in forever.
Yeah. So it's always dry and hot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, just a little, you know, history though on cons and fandom. Basically, Comic-Cons have always just been, you know, a gathering of fans celebrating the thing we love. But this year the world is different. And now we're celebrating virtually. And in some ways, I think that those nerdy things that we love, we actually need more now than we did before. And so with distance conning and zombies instead of zombies, which I will say was your line way back in the beginning of this, you referred, you know, introduced me to Zoom. You've been doing it a lot longer than I have. I really wanted you to join me on this discussion because we kind of have a different viewpoint from this. For me, I am overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed with all the things that are out there because I want to do them all. I see them as opportunities and I don't want to miss any of the opportunities. And for me, that's really funny because I've never been one to do a coulda, shoulda, woulda. I've never been the fear of missing out. That was not me. And even in the stock market, it's like, oh, so I missed a up, or, you know, or I missed a down. It's fine. I missed it. But with this year, I just can't seem to let go of some of those live events that I missed. And I just, you know, you can't go back. And one of which is the watch party for Indiana Jones with the ASU archaeology professor. And what a really unique, cool concept that was. And I missed it. And I still regret that I missed it. So it really is like the best of times, the worst of times. And for the best of times, as far as that, it's an opportunity for new fans to explore the nerdom, and first time con goers to, you know, try out different conventions and stuff, and marginalized communities that maybe can't do different events are actually able to try them for the first time. And this is your first time also at being at Council Room. So not just because, you know, you don't want to come to Minnesota in January.
Yes, I'm a part of the disabled community, and as such, there's no trip that we just take. You know, like we have to plan. Everything has to be extremely planned. So, for example, this year you were at HawaiiCon and you were doing panels at HawaiiCon, and I was delighted that I could actually attend that. Um, and like Austin Film Festival, I got in a few years ago at Austin Film Festival, and I just couldn't attend again because it's a lot of planning. And anybody that's taken an electronic wheelchair onto a plane understands that. But so this year, and I got in again at Austin Film Festival 2020, and I was able to attend, and they had fantastic opportunities, and you know you could interact, and I think that's a lot of what these panels have done really well, and these film festivals and different conventions have really done well is the interactive part, where I may be a little bit more shy to interact in person. In the Zumbi world, I'm able to interact and discuss and ask questions, and it doesn't feel as daunting, I guess.
And isn't that funny that the two words zombie and zombie are literally the completely opposite things? Zombies, you may be interacting by eating, but the zombies are usually, laid back or whatever, and the zombies are when you can actually maybe participate a little bit more. And so yeah, and I know from personally, I'm doing a lot more panels, presenting, as well as being on panels than I would have in a normal year, because I don't necessarily have the travel aspect to deal with, although council room that we're at is in Minnesota and it's down the street that way from me. Uh, but some of the other ones, I could participate a little bit more, um, because I didn't have the travel aspect.
Right.
So yeah. All right. So we're 10 months into this new virtual age. I think we're going to call it that. We're going to stop calling it our COVID year. I want to stop calling it the pandemic. Let's turn it around to be positive and refer to it as our virtual age, or the virtual era. And actually, I'm kind of hopeful that a certain part of this sticks around. The
I think it will. I really do. I think it will. When people realize, well, that was super convenient,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
works. Yeah.
So one of the things that I did this year, that you did as well, is San Diego Comic-Con. And for those people that are tuning into this that have not been to San Diego Comic-Con, this year it was virtual and it was free, and it's still happening. So it's on YouTube. You can go through San Diego Comic-Con's website, and click on Comic-Con at home, and it will take you to the programming, and then you can do there. I thought for the first time ever that this was an opportunity that I could see every one of the panels. So 3,000 panel hours, I am not doing it. I'm still doing a little bit every day, or I mean, every week. So I still do a couple, I watch a couple every week. And so I'm going to use that as an example, because I want to go a little bit of a how-to in the middle of our discussion, for those that are tuning in, trying to figure out how to tackle this abundance of riches, again, your term, is to create your A list, your B list, and your C list. And so for San Diego Comic-Con, for years, we've always done that, where all of the programming, because there would be things opposite each other and we wouldn't be able to do them, is the A list, which is the things that you absolutely don't want to miss. The B list is, I'd love to see it, but if there's an A, then we're not gonna. And then the C list is, this is interesting if I have time, or I'd like to check this out. It might be a new fandom or something like that. Well, we can do that. We can address that to the virtual age as well, where the A list are the things that you don't want to miss, but also are the things that you paid for, because not all of the virtual world is free. Mm-hmm. So some events are paid, or you had to sign up ahead of time. So I make them my A list. And I actually have a paper calendar that I write them down, and then underline the ones I've paid for, so that I don't forget to do some of them. I do have my calendar on my computer, but You know, sometimes I don't. I might see it and not see it, but if I have the paper calendar on my desk and I look at it and go, oh, hey, there's something underlined for today. Um, so those are the A list things. The B list things are, if I have time on a weekend, I've been trying to do a convention every other week, so that I could test out new ones. What's great is some of these conventions are on YouTube. So you don't have to see them live. So I can schedule them when it fits for me instead of actually doing it. Doing it that way, you don't get into like the live Twitter feed though. So, you know, that's here or there. And then again, the C list is the things that this sounds interesting. So
It does open it up more with the Zoom though, because anyone that's gone to a convention knows that sometimes you have to give up a few hours just to make sure you do make your A list because you have to wait. So
yes,
that kind of does clear up that aspect of it anyway.
and for you and I, we don't do Hall H
Right.
when we go to San Diego. And so this was an opportunity to see some of the Hall H panels. Now, it's not literally the same.
No.
But it is better than I actually had expected.
Mhm.
Because when this first started happening back in March, some of the first ones to go virtual were a little bit of learning curve issue kind of things. And the cons and the nerdy events and such since then have really gotten better, and better quality over the, I'd like to include this one in the better quality. Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, thank you, over time. So in making our lists, you are better at this than I am as far as finding the stuff. Because that's part of my information gathering of what I want to do and where to find it is usually coming from friends of mine who email me or text me saying, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? I'm going to ask you where you get your info because I get my info from you.
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with Twitter, and Twitter is my kind of primary source, I guess I would say. And anybody, I'm a writer, and I have fallen into this very bad habit of writing so many words and then treating myself with with a quick Twitter check, and then basically that it's one of these things where it feeds each other. So it might be a celebrity that I like, and I'll follow that celebrity, and then they will like, oh, I'm doing this, live table read, and then I will start to follow the table read participants. Or immediately, if there's an organization that I like, I'll get on their mailing list and I'll get updates and things. So it's something I really enjoy to kind of keep track of all this and follow all of this. Even something like the city of Tempe, my city has a fantastic communication where we get daily updates, and during the pandemic that's been fantastic. But for the things, the different classes and that they're providing and the different opportunities, I get that all through the email. And for example, my mom learned to Zoom this year, and instead of going to her actual class, her art class, she's learned how to Zoom and now is taking her class virtually. So, and I think again, it just kind of feeds each other. Once, and you had used to do the Follow Fridays for Wayward Nerd, and then I would follow all of your Follow Fridays. So, and then again, it just kind of keeps feeding each other.
Yeah, and I have the same love-hate relationship with Facebook. I do Facebook because it's a business thing,
Yeah.
but it's not my favorite thing. And also to feedback on your City of Tempe, libraries have been doing a lot of virtual events this year. So most of my information I get from email. I sign up for, of course, my city as well as my libraries. And because I don't have enough input and enough information, enough bookshelves, yes, I have bookshelves in every single room in my house, including the kitchen and the bathroom. I signed up for membership with Shakespeare and Company in Paris, the
Oh,
famous
fantastic.
there, and they were suffering this year from the shutdown, lockdown, I think they call it in Paris. And so they offered memberships to people for the first time. So I signed up for that. So now I have even more to do to fill my time. And the other thing that I'm doing is any convention that sounds interesting to me that I haven't been to, I sign up for their email mailing list, and I can get information that way from them. And then also, I've been doing a lot of the conventions that I already do. They have virtual things as well. And just to go through a couple of them that are Doctor Who specific for, because again, we're at Council Room. There is, of course, Council Room had Who It Yourself live items on Facebook this year. And so one of the ones that I had never done in the past, which I was so excited because I could do it this year because it was virtual, is their Tardis Tour, where they go out and take a look at all the TARDISes in Minnesota. And they
cool.
go, yeah, oh, it's so much fun. But I could never do it because I was always, it was always in a time in August where I was somewhere else. So that was on Facebook this year. And Council Room has been doing Who It Yourself live events all throughout the year on Facebook. And a lot of those are on YouTube as well. Chicago Tardis, another Doctor Who convention, was virtual this year. And you can, even if you've missed it, it was back in November, you can still see some of the events on YouTube. And the same thing with SD WhoCon, which is San Diego Doctor Who convention. And that was in October, and that was virtual this year. So, and they had some really unique live events that were recorded and are on YouTube that you can still watch now. And Idiot's Lantern, for anybody that's gone to Gallifrey 1, is a skit, Doctor Who skit with comedians. They had that live. And then also D&D, Dungeons and Dragons Doctor Who style, and that was live. And that actually brings up another one too that I did this year, which was not free, but it was a fundraiser, is at Christmas time, and unfortunately this one's not on YouTube, so I don't think you can go back and see it, is a Klingon Christmas Carol.
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, and it was done in both English and Klingon. And so they did that on more as a table read this year. Another one too that thank you to both you and our friend Lawrence for telling me about, was the wonderful cast reunion with Princess Bride. And they did the table read of the movie there for that. And that was a fundraiser in Wisconsin. That was a lot of fun. And
yeah, I think those table reads this year has, with the reunions for fundraising, has been fantastic. Super fun.
And Supernatural did one with Stacey Abrams, who is a huge Supernatural fan, and they did just an evening with Supernatural. So they didn't actually do a table read, but they did do a conversation with Eric Kripke and Stacey Abrams, Jason Jensen and Jared, and Jason Mans was there, I think. And of course, Misha, and then an enormous amount of the staff or the cast. And so it was like this, your whole screen was these little tiny boxes. And it was more of a conversation, and then they told stories. Stories that...
So it's an intimate, kind of an intimate thing.
Yeah.
Especially since it's like right there in your face, kind of, I think that's lovely.
And to make everyone cry, who's a Supernatural fan that missed it, they gave away a piece of the Impala.
Oh, fun.
As a fundraiser, a piece of, I don't think it was the whole bumper. I think it was just a piece of the bumper. And so, yeah, just truly unique things out there. Again, though, I have to learn how to be okay when I miss some of them. I just, because we think now that we're at home, and some of us are at home more than others, that now you have all this extra time, but there's even more things to watch than the extra time we have.
Right.
So there's still not enough hours in the day. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to read a list. I know that that's so boring for people when you're on Zoom and you're reading. But these are just some of the conventions, Comic-Cons, that have done virtual things this year. And some of them are ongoing, and some of them are just the event themselves, but they have the stuff that's on YouTube. So I mean, ongoing as in they have new content that they're adding, and some of the stuff is just the past content on YouTube from this year that was virtual. So this virtual age that we're in is a great opportunity for people to explore new conventions with the idea of where you might want to go in 2021 if we can, or 2022, which I don't want to start to cry because some of the conventions are already canceled for 2021. Again, we're at a Doctor Who convention, so I'm sure most people know that Gallifrey 1 is not happening this year.
Oh.
It is, I know. And that was my last trip, was Gallifrey 1 for 2020. And then then the lockdown happened. So I was kind of looking forward to this year, and now it's going to be next year. So anyways, here's just a partial list, but it's giving people some ideas. Dragon Con, I'm going to start with Dragon Con because actually it's different than the others. Dragon Con is like San Diego, where they have about 3,000 hours of programming, and it's all sorts of different tracks. So it doesn't matter what your fandom is, you're going to be able to find something there. They have 40 different tracks of fandom, Star Trek, Star Wars. I mean, just all anything you can imagine. They even have a British track, which is more like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, that kind of stuff. That one you have to pay a streaming fee, and it's $10 for a whole year. So you have a whole year to watch all the stuff. Yes, I have not finished it. And I am trying. So that is Dragon Con. And they have their own channel. It's dragoncon.tv. And that's where you can get the streaming service for that. And then some of the other ones that have done virtual events is Rose City Comic Con. That one actually, it was called Epic Quest, and that was a fee as well. But then there's Hawaii Con, which I had a few panels at, and you attended. That was a lot of fun, especially because, you know, you could play the Hawaiian music and pretend you're there. And LeakyCon has ongoing virtual events, including Wizard Rock Wednesdays, if you're into Wizard Rock. And another one that I went to this year that I went to for the first time was a Harry Potter academic conference. And what was amazing is Timothy Snyder was the keynote speaker. And anybody that watches MSNBC, he's on there all the time. That was amazing when he was talking about identifying evil in politics through literature. And so that was an incredible one. That one is available on their website. And so that's the website, I believe, is harrypotterconference.org. It might be .com, but it might be .org. All right, San Diego, we've already talked about. Also, another Minnesota convention is Convergence. And they were Convergence Online is what they referred to that this year. WonderCon, which is part of San Diego, also did WonderCon at home. And then Silicon Valley Comic Con has been renamed, and it is now called SillyCon with Adam Savage. I know. So they have ongoing events, and some of those are free and some of them are paid. And Adam Savage, you might remember from Mythbusters, he does actual how-tos where you're building something and you can pay ahead of time to get the kit sent to you, and then you build it with him.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I thought those were really interesting. Emerald City Comic Con is part of ReedPop, and ReedPop did a metaverse convention, and so some of that YouTube is still out there. And Los Angeles Comic Con has been doing virtual events all along. Creation Entertainment for the super fans of Supernatural and Lucifer and all these other types of fandom TV. Creation Entertainment is the one that puts on the conventions. They have been doing meet and greets where
Oh, cool.
you pay a certain amount of money. It is not cheap, and you can do a meet and greet with the different actors and stuff. And then they've done slumber parties, and they've done all sorts of different things with that. And then D23 also, which is a Disney fan club. They have done virtual events for Disney members. That is also one of those where I have to underline it on my calendar, because you have to sign up for the event, and then it's live +7. So you can watch it live, or you have 7 days to watch it. And then it goes away forever. And one of them I did miss. I was a little bummed, but oh well, I have to learn to get over it. And then I think you did some Alamo at home stuff, Alamo movies, and for sure you did a bunch of the virtual cast reunions. I think it's Josh Gad that did those.
Yeah, and he also did it as like an awareness campaign for the different concerns that he had, which was fantastic. And he did where he would read aloud children's books as well, and that was amazing.
Oh, and
But
also Powdermore.
mhm.
Pottermore has done a whole bunch of Wizarding World, and Pottermore have done a whole bunch of virtual things, including the actors from the TV show or from the movie Harry Potter reading the book. So they did that too.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, that's really honestly been such a nice blessing in all of this, is to see people's creativity and reaching out. I mean, that's why the cons are so lovely, because you get to actually, bond with people, and to do it virtually, and for them not to forget about that piece of it was great.
Yeah, and also to be able to bond not only just with the other fans, but also with the creator. And I
Hmm.
think that they get something out of it as well when they see, the fans enjoying. And I know that, like with the Princess Bride, the creators and the actors were amazed at the amount of people that showed up for that virtually. And so they get that feedback as well. I'm gonna, because we talked about Alamo, this is my cup of ambition. It is an Alamo Drafthouse mug, but it was a giveaway before the pandemic at one of their watch parties. Alamo Drafthouse has these, as you know, great watch parties, and it was 9 to 5, and so you got the cup of ambition, which is always perfect for any kind of videotaping. Which I probably should mention. I don't know if I mentioned it already, that this is being taped ahead of time, and that once the convention goes live, then we'll be on Discord, and people can ask questions and stuff. But the actual thing is taped ahead of time. So, anyways, now we did the commercial, I can get back to.
Well, and other cool things that I've seen online too are things like trivia contests online. I know now, because we were these people, would go to the casino on a Tuesday night and go play trivia, and now we do it online together, or D&D online. I noticed that my Star Trek Discovery that I love, their cast plays D&D together, and Anthony Rapp has posted pictures of that. So that's kind of nice to know that they do that kind of thing together to keep each other going. Or we have a friend, Tony Parker, and he does a lot of D&D online. So that there are tons of opportunities like that, which has been great.
So I would love to watch you guys play trivia online in Zoom party, because you take your trivia very seriously.
Oh, very seriously, yes. Yes, I'm not a competitive person by nature, but trivia is a blood sport.
Yeah, yeah. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the TV show from New Zealand that's on. And we haven't even started talking about the streaming services, all the stuff that's out there on the streaming services. So on Acorn, there was a New Zealand show.
I'm blanking, but I know what you're talking about.
Where it's a trivia night, and they go and they do their trivia night, and they take it very seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, blood sport, for
Mhm.
sure. But yeah, I mean, and there's all sorts of new streaming services now. You have Pluto, Peacock, and then of course, there's Apple TV, there's all of these other types, and I have BritBox as well. And there's so much, even though for a long time, Hollywood wasn't doing anything, and the movies weren't being made and the TV shows weren't being made, they all seem to find something new to do, whether it was on YouTube or even these streaming things. Amy Schumer did a cooking show from her kitchen in lockdown.
Yeah, that was fun. That was very fun.
I made the cocktails along with her. I'm finding, again, it's overwhelming for me, the amount of new stuff out there. And I find that I am going back to my comfort zone, and I will watch some new stuff, but then I will go and pick up something that I've watched before. Some of the other stuff that's out there too is like Curiosity Stream, Masterclass. Masterclass is something I signed up for this year, and I've been doing that, and so that's been a lot of fun. And Curiosity Stream has a lot of science documentaries, and bless them, they're 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like 3 hours, so you can actually feel
Chunks.
yeah. Like
Mm.
I feel like I'm accomplishing something. And then and I'm also doing games online with my nephews that live in a suburb, and we'll do Jackbox TV, I think it's called, and then also House Party. I think it's called House Party. They usually send me a link, and then and that might be trivia, but because I can't draw, they have decided that Pictionary is the best one to do some of those. And I know my brother's done his work has done a great job of integrating fun things too in their meetings. Like they'll send out a package for bingo for their Christmas party this year. Everybody got in the mail a bingo package, and then they did bingo online. And that was kind of fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
To do stuff like that. So, all right, I'm gonna ask you one last question, because again, I'm watching new stuff, but I'm finding with the world that we're in right now that I'm watching the old stuff too. So, and I will admit that what I'm the one that I'm going to admit to, there may be more, but the one I'm going to admit to was because of you. So in February, before I went to Gallifrey One, I was at Tracy's house in Phoenix, and she would watch Hardy Boys at night on YouTube. Before going to bed. And so when the pandemic hit and lockdown first occurred, of course, now we're just in stay at home or stay safe, not quite lockdown, but when lockdown hit, and I ended up watching the original Nancy Drew when it was Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys, because it had been, I don't know, 30, 40 years since I had seen it.
1970s, baby.
I think it was 76.
Yeah.
76 or 77, somewhere in there. I found that I'm really enjoying the original Nancy Drew. And I like the fact that not every mystery has to be a murder, that it can be an art theft, or that they're making counterfeit money, or whatever. So that's my comfort binging. I've been binging a lot of things. I also just finished, because I finished all the Nancy Drew. I started Psych over at the beginning, and now I'm going through all 8 seasons of Psych plus the 3 movies or 4 movies, whatever it is. Because again, it's, even though there's murder every week on Psych, but I'm enjoying the humor again. So, all right, true confessions time. What are you comfort binging?
Yeah, because they don't call it like cozy mysteries. Cozy mysteries implies.
Oh, okay. So you did that on purpose because you want me to admit to that
Yes,
as well. Okay. All right. So then you have to admit to something embarrassing as well. I will
Okay.
admit that this summer I discovered the Hallmark Mystery channel. It's
Mhm.
HMM, so it's mysteries and something. I forgot what the other M is for. Movies, mysteries and movies, I think it is. And so, yes, I do like the cozy mysteries. I don't like the fact that nothing, adult type happens. There's hardly even kissing. So there's like no action at all. But it's a female character, lead character, and she solves the crime, and it's almost never she's a police officer. In one, she's a baker, in another, she's an archaeologist, in another, she's an English teacher that teaches murder mysteries. And so, I enjoyed those. Yes, there's a murder every week, but oh my God, there is no action at all. You have to wait until the show is over, and then the Golden Girls come on, and that's where you get the action. Yeah, but those Golden Girls got a lot of action. Or, mystery solvers get no action at all. And then also I was about to say Gilmore Girls. I actually did watch a little Gilmore Girls again. But no, the things that I'm gonna cop to, the things that I'm gonna admit is I comfort binged the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, mostly Nancy Drew. Although I did kind of sing along to the, Do Run Run from Sean Cassidy. But then also Cookie Mysteries. All right, so now that you got the second one out of me, so what are
Well,
you?
Columbo has been my lifelong comfort television. I absolutely love Columbo. But I would say, and this is going to sound, I don't want to say guilty pleasure because I don't really feel guilty. I feel like I have to justify it sometimes, but Charlie's Angels, 1970s Charlie's Angels. And, well, we're not the only ones because I've read a lot of, especially when the pandemic first hit, was a lot of comfort viewing going on. And I think they refer to it as nostalgia viewing, but it's like a grilled cheese and tomato sandwich. You're watching Charlie's Angels. There's no stress there. We just enjoy this mystery that's going to come out okay. All is well. We make a little joke at the end.
The thing about the 1970s shows is that was before lean in TV was created. I think lean in TV, where you're engaged with the people. I mean, that was Buffy. I think was the first one where you really had lean in TV. So
Mhm.
yeah, so these you could just absolutely comfort. So well, Columbo, I think I wouldn't. I mean, that's just good writing.
It is, yeah.
So I don't
And
know.
good acting. Peter Falk, please.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I can see that as comfort binging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Charlie's Angels. All right.
I'm again, I'm not going to justify it here, but it has helped.
Yeah. No, I was a Charlie's Angel fan when
Yeah.
during that time period. And any of the mystery shows like Columbo, I grew up watching that. My mom was a big mystery fan, so any of the Masterpiece Mysteries or Agatha
Oh,
Christie, I
yeah,
watched all
fantastic.
of those.
Yeah.
And then of course my dad was into the Beretta. I don't know if we can find Beretta anywhere. I don't know if that's even out
Yeah,
there.
that was a little awkward there, probably. Although I used to sing the theme song with my coworker all the time.
Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, Starsky and Hutch, yes, of
That
course.
was another one. And then the Angie Dickinson one. What was that? Policewoman?
Police lady, policewoman,
Woman, something like that. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, not all of them stand the test of time. So,
Pluto has taught me that. And, it was a moment in time, Love Boat. But I would tell you that again, it was a moment in time. We're not going to insult any show, but it definitely where some of them just kind of transcend all that.
Land of the Lost did not hold up for me. I loved it as a child. I recently rewatched it because it was on Netflix, and that was not good. And so for the people tuning into this, and they're like, well, how did they get to comfort binge watching? I think it's still literally part of being a nerd in the virtual age is we can actually now watch these things that we watched from the 70s because it is the virtual age, and with new things like Pluto TV, they're out there. And of course on YouTube, you could find just about anything on YouTube, but with Amazon Prime, video, with Netflix.
IMDb TV on Amazon Prime is a really good one for that, for the classic shows.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So it's just another, again, not enough hours. So, well, I think Guilty Pleasures is a good place to maybe wrap up the discussion. So first of all, I want to thank you, Tracy, for joining me today.
Okay, yeah,
And
this has been great. Thank you.
to all of the attendees that are watching, thanks for joining us. Again, we'll be on Discord, so I want to hear about everybody else's experiences in the virtual age. What they liked, what they haven't, and of course, what are you comfort binge watching to everyone else. Also, if you have a chance, check out my other panels for Council Room 2021. I'm doing a live panel where you can actually submit your questions to me live. And that is distance conning, making your virtual con feel more real. It's about not just staring at a screen, make it more 4D with sights, sounds, smells, all that kind of stuff. Also, fandom cookbooks, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Road trip supernatural style, how to do a socially distant, safe, pandemic style road trip in the supernatural kind of genre. Staying fit and nerdy while staying at home, which is about virtual races that you can run even in your apartment or do a marathon course in the backyard. And then there's a Discord discussion, traveling with the doctor. And so also, speaking of Discord, don't forget to visit the virtual vending area that you can find on Discord, as well as on the Council Room website. And one last plug, actually, I guess I have two last plugs. Wayward Nerd has made a Spotify playlist for Council Room 2021. Actually, we made two because we also made one for Supernatural. And it's something that, you and I have been doing since we started going to Comic-Con 15 years ago, is make a special playlist for every convention. And so I still do that with Wayward Nerd. And this year I did two for Council Room because of the Supernatural. The playlist I did for HawaiiCon was a lot of fun because I got to add in a whole lot of Hawaiian music. And I have to be honest, it's cold right now, and I've been listening to a lot of Hawaiian music, just trying to get into that Hawaii state of mind, because I know it's going to be not anytime soon that I get to actually travel to Hawaii again. And what's making it worse is all the emails from the airlines telling me how cheap it is to fly to Hawaii. But for anyone that's thinking about it, you still have to quarantine once you get there. So you got 14 days that you're going to be stuck inside a hotel room. You can't go out. And then also, for anyone that wants more information on traveling the nerdy universe, check out our website at www.waywardnerd.com. And so Tracy, where can people find you?
At Maye Tracy on Twitter and tracymay.com.
All right. So again, thank you for joining us, and we will say Alanzi.
Bye, guys.